welcome to Ham's How To. Alright, this video is going to explain real fast how to upgrade your firmware on your DJI Phantom 3 Advanced. I had a hell of a time trying to find out how to do it. Nothing was working, and I'll tell you why. And I couldn't really find a good video. So this is a quick video to show you how to do it. Alright, first of all, I'm using a Mac. So on your computer, and this works on PC or Mac, on your Mac, on your computer, go to, let me see here, DJI.com. Trying to do this one-handed. Okay, that's where you are. All right, next step is you want to go to, up at the top right up here, you want to go to drones. And I click right on drones. And then you go down here and find the Phantom 3 Advanced. Click on that. Click right on the drone. Then go over here to downloads. And then your top one will be your zip file for your Phantom 3 Advanced firmware. Okay, now when you click on that, that should bring a download down into your download folder. That's where mine's set up, and I'm sure everybody else's is set up that has a Mac. It just sends it right to your download folder. Now, this part, unlike a zip file, at least this is how it works on my computer, unlike a zip file on a PC, even though it says zip on the deal, on a PC, I think you have to unzip it. But on my computer, and I think this is like in all Macs, when it downloads that, it's a bin file. And it's called the version of it's called FS3 or FH3, I mean, or something like that. And it will be a long name. It'll be the version file, and it will say .bin. You don't have to unzip it. I didn't. Take that file, copy that bin file to your little SD card that came out of your copter, your Phantom 3 Advanced. Now, this is where I got tricky. I took my card, because I had a bunch of videos on it and stuff like that. I took my card and I formatted it on my Mac. That's where I had the trouble. It wouldn't recognize, I mean, I had an error message when I put it back in the drone. I kind of ignored it and tried to upgrade. Nothing worked. So I sat on that thing. I tried to call DJI. That takes forever. I was on hold for about an hour and a half. Finally got a lady. Well, I waited in line. Finally got a lady. Couldn't understand a word she said. She wasn't from this country, and I just couldn't understand a word she said. I had to hang up. I was mad after an hour and a half. And anyway, so when you get that file, you download it off the DJI site onto your Mac. Take that bin file and copy it to your SD card. Take that little SD card, put it back in your drone, and make sure you copy it to your root directory. Don't put it in a subdirectory or something. Put it in your root directory. Copy that back to your drone, put the SD card back in your drone, turn the drone on, and it will upgrade it. And how you know it's upgrading, it's going to make these little and the little light on the side over there by where you put your card in, it's going to blink green and red. First time it only blinked red for me and didn't do anything. It didn't make no noise. Just every now and then go. Anyway, you want it to go and be blinking, then stop, and go and it took mine about 15 minutes. After you'll know when it's upgraded because you'll get a solid green light. Then, after you're done, turn your drone back off, take that SD card back out, put it in your computer, and you can read that SD card, and it should have a text file on it. And if you click on the text file, it will tell you if it was successful or not. Now your drone's up to date. Now the next thing is upgrading your controller. I had a hard time with that too. I thought, oh great, everything's going great now. This is gonna be a piece of cake. It wouldn't do it. I kept telling me that upgrade was required on my DJI software, on the Go software. But when I clicked on it, it didn't have nothing there now. I mean, what the heck? So I went ahead, plugged the cable that came with your DJI into my controller, plugged it into my drone. Turned the drone on first, then the controller. Then there's a little button, and I don't have my drone out or I'd show you, but there's a, well here, let me get my drone out, I'm going to show you because this might be important. here's my, now this is where the battery goes. So as you're facing the copter where the battery goes, let me get this on here. Over on the left of that, excuse me, on the right of that, so as you're facing the battery compartment, to the right of that, on that side, there are these little buttons right up here. Wait, let me focus here. There's one here and one there. The second one over right there. All right, you got it? It's the second one over, not the first one, but the second one, the little hole. All right, you got that? Now what you want to do there is when you plug that small short cable you had that came with your DJI into your controller where the USB port is, and then into that little teeny slot. Here, I'll show you that too. That is right there. When you plug that into there, then you should then turn on the drone, turn on the controller, and then take a pin, and that hole I showed you, take a little pin and hold that in, the pin in that little hole for about 2-3 seconds. That's what I did. That's what I had to dig around and find. It worked. Now what confused me was, now when I run the DJI software, everything looked great. It didn't say you had any errors. It said everything's up to date, blah, blah, blah. But when I actually went in there and looked, the two version numbers were different. The copter version of the firmware was whatever it is, something, 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 something. But the firmware for the controller it didn't match up. And I thought, oh no, because I remember when I first got this thing, it said they had to be the same. But I remember calling DJI one time before on an upgrade and asking them, I said, how come my numbers aren't the same? They said, no, you're fine. That's the latest firmware for your controller, and that's the latest firmware for your, so I don't think I worry about that. Anyway, everything works now. That's how you do it. I've seen other videos where they say while you're upgrading your copter, you got to plug a cable into the computer, and no, you don't do none of that. And so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, go ahead and I leave my email address down below, or leave a comment down below. And if it helps, also leave a comment down below. So hope that works for you. Anyway, Hammer from Maui. Happy flying.